Hello, I'm Caroline Derry and I'm here with Stephanie Pywell. We work very closely together on W101, an introduction to law. And because we're both focused on supporting students right from the very beginning stages of their study, we're both very committed to ensuring that those students have the help and support they need in order to succeed. And over the 20 years of the OU Law School, the technology enabling us to do that has also developed, and we've made full use of that. So Steph, you were involved in developing the 12 introductory steps for law students. Could you tell us something about that?
Yes, in 2015, for the first time, we had some level 2 law modules, and we designed those so that they'd build on the skills and knowledge that students would have gained from the level 1 law modules. But if students are graduates in any subject when they join the OU, they are exempt from studying at level 1. So we had a situation where people were going to be studying law at level 2 with no knowledge of law. So we had to design some kind of catch-up materials for them.
Goodness, so what constraints did you face doing that?
Well, the first one was that the materials had to be optional, so we couldn't make the students do them. They had to be available to all the students. They weren't allowed to take very long because the students weren't allocated any time for catching up, and they had to be accessible. So luckily, as you said, they were able to be online, which meant that students could do them whenever they wanted.
Right, and how did you decide what to include?
Well, a group of us met and we decided on the 12 topics that we thought were most important from level 1 that they'd need as they were going to study law at higher levels, and they were the basis of the 12 steps.
All right, and could you explain the format of each of those 12 steps?
Yes, each of them has a 5-minute teaching bit, if you like, where it's either a podcast or some written material that the student tries to learn. But the key bit of them really is the questions, because those are designed to make the students really think about what they've learned and to put it into practice really in real life situations that we have in the questions. And because of the interactivity, they get immediate feedback so they can tell whether they've understood the materials or not. So that's, yeah.
That sounds great. And what challenges did you face?
Well, the biggest challenge, I think, was the 1,200 hours of learning that they would have had at level 1 had to be squished into 3 hours of learning for the steps, so that was really quite a challenge.
Wow, yes. So did you manage to do it successfully?
I think so, because we did a poll the first year that we ran the steps, and the students said they were very popular. 98.5% of students said they were either useful or very useful, and something like 90% said they could do every step in between 5 and 20 minutes, which was what we wanted. And rather more excitingly, we found that statistically there's an association between how many of the steps students have studied and how well they score on their modules at level 2 and level 3. So that was a great bonus, really.
Wonderful.
And you were heavily involved in writing the new induction materials that we introduced in October 2018, weren't you? Do you want to say something about that?
Yes, so we introduced a new law induction programme, and it's made up of 3 fairly short sessions, all online so that students can access them at any time.
Right, and I guess one of the main things that faces students when they take up studying or come to the OU is nervousness. Did you try to address that specifically?
Absolutely. The most common thing that students say before they start their studies is that they're excited but nervous. So we wanted to keep the excitement but also address some of the nervousness. And we did that in several key ways. One was to try and address the fear of the unknown. Almost all the students are new to studying law, so we tried to give them some idea of what that would involve. Another area of anxiety for students is whether they have the study skills they're going to need for this level. And of course, the modules are designed to develop those study skills as students go through, so they don't need to worry. But also, importantly, they have many of the skills they're going to need already. So we devised a fun, interactive quiz which enables a student to identify the skills they already have and also offers some simple suggestions for ways that they might refresh or improve skills which they're less confident in.
Well, that sounds great. So obviously it's really early days because the sessions have only existed for about 2 months, but have you had any feedback yet?
Yes, the feedback's been very positive. Happily, students have said that they did find it helpful. It has enabled them to feel more supported, and that they seem to have found it fun as well.
That's great, thank you.